Hey y'all, happy Monday. It's Chanel here. Yolanda to some of y'all Chanel. Um, but I am here and it is a very, very happy Monday. Um, yes, it's hot and I am popped up on coffee. So this is a homemade latte. Nothing like a homemade latte in a mason jar, right? Anywho, so I am here and I want to shout out an amazing Facebook group called Black Girls Read Too. Oh my God, y'all. I joined this Facebook group a while back and I have fallen in love. I am an avid reader and life happens and you get kind of really busy in your work and all of that. Coronavirus happened. We went on quarantine and I'm in school and stuff and stuff and stuff. And so you kind of get away from reading. You kind of, especially if you're doing a whole bunch of academic reading. And I remember a mentor a long time ago said, Yolanda, you do a lot of academic reading. I do a lot of reading for work. I'm in education, so I do a whole bunch of reading for work. I'm a student, so I do a whole bunch of reading for my degree program. And she said, you got to make sure you do some reading for fun. I was an instructional coach and she was an English teacher, and I would get to play and go in and co-teach with her, and I would get such a thrill out of it, and it was so nostalgic. And just getting back to the young adult fiction that I love, and I would get to co-teach with her, and we would co-teach short stories or novels or whatever. But anyway, so I have made a commitment to myself that I am going to let that be a part of my self-care, and to make sure that I am always doing some reading for fun, some reading that I choose, not reading that's chosen for me. And so I said that to say, I joined this Facebook group, Black Girls Read Too. And before I talk about what I came in to talk about, I want to first say to the host of that group, are they called hosts or admin, moderators? I'm not sure. But the person over the group, her name is Tiffany Richardson. And I want to just say to you, girl, I love it. You are amazing. I feel like we're old time friends. I've inboxed her before. She's responded. And she does a really good, I'm going to talk directly to Tiffany. You do a really, really good job at hosting this group. And I'm proud of you. And I want to take time as a Black woman to just uplift another Black woman and celebrate that you win. Because when you win, I win. And so I'm really super proud of you. I love being a part of the group. I scroll every day and I see how the interaction that you've created among all of these Facebook users, and it's like we're old friends, and it's like we are truly part of a book club. And those of us who long for the book club experience, like me, I've always been a person who's attempted to start a book club and sustain a book club, but it kind of just falls apart. And so when I have an opportunity to be a part of a book club that's not that doesn't weigh me down, that I don't feel like, oh my God, I'm not keeping up with the reading, that kind of book club. So yeah, and I really feel like that with this group. And not only that, I get to meet so many amazing new authors, authors that's in it, that's authors who've been in it and in the thick of it, and they advertise their work and people are celebrating them. And I've subscribed to so many blogs, and just being in the presence of creatives just really, really feels good, especially in a time like the time we're in now. With some, y'all, 2020 is Just 2020 like needs to give us a do-over, like for real. Anyway, I digress. So I told y'all I'm hopped up on coffee as I take another sip. Anyhow, Tiffany, keep on doing it. Girl, if I were there, I would give you a big old giant hug and kiss on the cheek, old timey like like our grandparents used to do. But anyway, so this weekend, Tiffany and Black Girls Read 2 hosted a virtual read-a-thon that started Friday at 7 p.m. Well, I cheated a little bit on the read-a-thon because I'm sure the read-a-thon is designed so that you can finish a book. What did I do? What I always do, and that's just, I'm always reading multiple books, because reading for me is like when people watch TV and they flip through the channel. Sometimes I want to watch different shows at different times. So whatever. So like, sometimes you watching Greenleaf and Empire and whatever and whatever and whatever. That's how it is for me. That's how reading is for me. So this was my weekend. So, oh my God. So I started a book and just about finished a book. And I started 2 books and just about, and continued with several, with this book. And I'm doing my first Kindle. So during the read-a-thon, I was supposed to finish the Kindle book, but I got lost in this book. So I'm going to talk about these books. Anyway, so really quickly, first things first. In Black Girls Read 2, in our Facebook group, of course, it's because we're just so amazing. All of our needs, every reading need is discussed at some point. So somebody posted about audiobooks versus Kindles versus the physical book. And I got curious. I was like, I think I'm gonna do a Kindle. I think I'm gonna try a Kindle. And so, the Kindle app is free. And I have it on my iPad, and that's it right there. So here are my Kindle books. So it's just like a bookshelf. I don't know if y'all know about Kindle, but this is a look. And a whole bunch of these, y'all, were free. So if you belong to different, I subscribe to a whole bunch of different like online book groups or book stores. And every so often they'll have like, if you get these books today, they're free on Kindle. So I end up getting a whole bunch of free books. So these first 3 I'm currently reading. So I am reading, I can't see. So I'm reading, these first 3. I'm reading Please Be Loved by Nique Luarks, Dirty Diana by J.D. Mason. It's crazy good. And can y'all see it? And Thickerella by Tanzania Glover. Thickerella is one of the books for the Black Girl Reads book club. So we're discussing this book this weekend, the 12th, I think. Anyway, so I have it on Kindle. So anyway, I am reading this book, Please Be Loved, by a local author. And I'm just about finished with it. And it ain't bad. I don't hate it. I don't hate reading on the Kindle. I actually kind of dig it. And what I really like about the Kindle is certain books, depending on the genre that you love, you want in your library, right? So now this is just the fiction I'm reading. I have a stack of nonfiction that I'm reading just like relevant for this time. One of them being White Fragility. I'm reading that. And I'm reading some books for work that's on urban education. And then I'm reading some faith-based books that, those books you kind of go to and you can kind of go back and forth to and read individual chapters when you need them. So for me, urban fiction is not a genre that I readily reach for. It's not my favorite. But I don't hate it. And I do like reading it. But I don't care to have the physical book because I don't care to have it on my bookshelf. What I want on my bookshelf is fantasy. I want faith-based books. Like if it's J.D. Mason, I want the physical book. That's just what it is. I want the physical book. Early Eric Jerome Dickey, I wanted the physical book. Later Eric Jerome Dickey, not so much. So that's what's great about the Kindle is you get to own the book, but it's not taking up the space on your bookshelf. And if you're not a book lover, a bibliophile, then that won't matter to you. And so I don't know that it matters to me. So I said all that to say, so I'm reading a book on Kindle, almost through it, and it's really good. It's so good. I'm totally invested in the characters, totally invested in these 4 relationships that are crazy, insane. It's that, like, if you like Greenleaf and Empire, if you like those kind of shows, this author, Nique Luarks, and I will link her website, and I'll try to tag her in this video some kind of way. I don't know if I can put it in the cards, because I'm new to BookTube, so I'm doing that. But anyway, so y'all look her up. She's killer. And so with that, this weekend in the Read-A-Thon, see how I'm all over the place? But anyway, this week in the Read-A-Thon, I started, can you see that? With the Fire on High, Elizabeth Acevedo. If you ever read, I found her, cause she was the first our first book written in verse that I read. So she wrote a novel that was written in verse called Poet X, and it was good, y'all. But it's another young adult book. This one is the same way. It's about a young girl who is a teenage mom, and she has dreams of being a chef. And so she has all of the teenage stuff, high school and racial bias because of her race, because of being a teen mom. And so she is Latinx. And so you kind of get to see some of that really rich cultural storyline in there. So I just started it. There's not much I can say about it, but I think it's going to be a good one. And I'm hosting a virtual children's book study with that book in July. So here's my 2 that I'm really, really in, like my 2 books. So I am currently reading the 3rd book in the Artemis Fowl series. This is the Eternity Code. The first 2 books were like love, love, love. This book is love, but it's losing a little something. He's an 11-year-old. Now he's like 12 or 13 in this book. So we see him growing up. He's like a criminal mastermind. I am about halfway through. It is broadcasting on Disney Plus, but I think I can get it on my Fire Stick. So I'm in this book. This is good. This is a series of 8. I'm on book 3. I just purchased book 4, so I will finish this book this week. And anyway, so do that. So I was doing this book also on the Read-A-Thon, but the majority of my time when I was not gardening and spending QT with the boyfriend, I was reading and kicking it with Alice in A Blade So Black, L.L. McKinney. Let me tell you, this book is really, really good. And so to my friends in Black Girls Read Too, y'all get it. Oh my God. Her name is Alice. This book follows and a 17-year-old Black girl in Atlanta, and she is endowed with the power to see monsters. And these monsters are called nightmares. And she discovers this power the night that her dad dies. And she sees this monster, and she stumbles on this fight between this guy, this monster fighter person, and this monster the monsters are called nightmares. The book is written, it's a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, and that's our main character's name is Allison. And we call her Alice, and she is sassy, and everything about the book is like Black girl magic. It is a classic good and evil story, and she's a superhero, and I love it. And so right now is a time that I kind of need something. I kind of need a feel good, and this feels good. It feels good. There is kind of a side story or understory or another story within the story, where a Black girl is killed in the neighborhood, and we get to see a little bit of that dynamic of a Black mother who is afraid for her Black daughter when she's out. And so when Alice is out fighting monsters and she's not answering mama's text messages, so you kind of get that feeling. So there is a little bit of that, so it's really relevant, so you get some of that. And the whole thing with her hair, you get some of that in there. She does have natural hair. She does straighten it at one point, and she's fighting them on. Anyway, so she gets to go between worlds, between our world or her world in Atlanta, and she goes through what's called the veil into Wonderland. And in Wonderland is where all the nightmares are. And the nightmares are made up of the fears of humans. And there's so many allusions to Alice in Wonderland. And I'm not sure if you love Alice in Wonderland. I don't love it. Like, I don't own it in the book form. I've seen it. I know the story. So some of the classic things in Alice in Wonderland you pick up on really quickly. And so, yeah, but it's a really, really good book. And when I tell you, it jumps right into the action. You don't have to wait on it. And the thing about fantasy is the world building is like, sometimes if you're a fantasy person, that's the thing to me that makes lovers of fantasy love a book or hate a book. It's how the author builds the world, and how he or she uses her words to draw you into the world. The color, the things that live in it, the creepy crawlies, the atmosphere, whatever, what you hear, what you see. Sometimes the world building, because it is fantastical, it takes long. And some authors just do a really good job at weaving that world building right into the storyline quickly with the action. And this book is really action packed. There is an urban fiction feel to it, but it's fantasy. And so, yeah, and it's young adult. So this is great. And I had a wonderful weekend reading Alice and My Four Relationships and Please Be Loved, and Artemis, who is a criminal mastermind who's trying to recover the CQ from Spyro. And listen, with Artemis Fowl, this is where the underground fairy world meets our world. And so this series is about fairies and sprites and trolls and gnomes, and they live underground, and above ground are the humans with what they call mud men. And there is a undertone of the author scolding us for our environmental irresponsibility. So Yeah, it's good. But anyway, that is my shout out to Black Girls Read Too. Please, if you get a chance, please like and subscribe, like this video and subscribe to my channel, and definitely seek out Black Girls Read Too on Facebook and become a part of the group. You will not be disappointed. Until next time, see y'all later.